Alright, it's kind of chilly, and I haven't told a hunt story for a while, but I'm going to tell one now. It's kind of a hunt story, kind of isn't. Obviously, it's from hunting, but a lot of people will ask, not only me, but other guides, obviously, there's lots of us out there, if you ever feel nervous being with a stranger in the woods with a loaded gun in their hands, or ever hear of any accidental shots or accidents, or anybody ever almost shot you by accident. And unfortunately, the answer is probably yes for most long-term, lifelong guides, maybe, possibly. For me, I only had somebody almost shoot me once while I was actually guiding them, and I had two other times I almost got shot in my life. Once with a crossbow, and another time with a 30-06. So I'm going to share all three of these stories with you guys in this video right now. And for anybody who's curious, I'm near the confluence of the Elaho River and the Squamish River, and I'm high up, is where I am today. And it is freaking chilly up here. And once again, obviously, there is far more wolf sign than I've seen deer sign. I think I've seen 2 sets of deer tracks so far, and that's it. And I've been traveling and looking for a while. But anyway, so we'll go to the very first time I was almost shot. And it was when I was probably about 25, 26 years old, Vancouver. And I'm going hunting. And I'm taking a buddy of mine I grew up with into one of my spots. And he broke the cardinal rule and showed up with somebody else. Like, what are you thinking? You don't go hunting with somebody to their secret spot and bring somebody without telling them. So I obviously made a change of plans. I'm so guarded with my secret hunting spots, it's ridiculous. And the number one reason why is because of the effort it takes to get those spots on your own, the hours and the miles and the months and the years and the days hiking. So anyway, I made a change of plans right away and went to another spot that's fairly well known. And it's still dark out. We got out of the trucks, 2 trucks, got out of the trucks, and we're standing there, all 3 of us. So I'm standing right here, my buddy's standing right here, the third guy's standing right there. These 2 are both new hunters. This guy right here is his very first year hunting. He's got a 30-06, and it's pitch black, can't really see him because we're just standing there talking away. And all of a sudden, bawammo, this muzzle flash flame comes shooting out of this guy's 30-06 right between us, waist height. Obviously scared the living shit out of us. And his excuse immediately was, well, I didn't know if the safety was on or off, so I pulled the trigger. Really? So that was the first time I almost got shot. Carrying on, fast forward. Throughout the majority of my first 10 or so years of hunting, I predominantly hunted with a bow and arrow. I started off with a bow and arrow, loved it, and I was pretty successful at it. And a lot of people that I knew who hunted as well, but they're typical gun hunters. It was all road warriors. They most likely, usually the people that I knew on the island back then, the other hunters, they typically drove up in the dark, drove to the edge of a slash, walked the road to the edge of a slash, and that was their hunting. That was what they did to hunt. And I didn't have any family members that were in hunting, so I had to teach myself, and I had to go jump into the timber with a bow and arrow and actually learn how to hunt. So a few of these people started, noticing that I was getting quite successful with my bow and arrow, and I was also hunting in areas which was only bow hunting only. So this one particular person, older than me, wanted to take advantage of this bow hunting only zones as well, and did what many people do and went and bought a crossbow because it's fast and easy. You don't have to learn how to do it. Sight it in, got a safety and a scope, and off you go. So we're together and we're hunting in this one particular area. Semi-mossy rock bluffs and timber, kind of open, kind of tight. And there was a doe season on at the time. And we noticed this doe up ahead on a ridge. So that we went up like this and up and over, and she was almost on top of that ridge. And he wanted to take the doe. It's a big healthy doe all by itself, no fawns. So we sent him down this side of the ridge, and I would go down this side and slowly possibly push her up and over to him. And I specifically said, if she's skylined on the top of the ridge, do not shoot at the deer, because I'm going to be on the other side of the hill. Obviously. Does it take a brain surgeon to figure that out and not do it? So probably half an hour later, I'm standing there and I glance up and I can see that doe above me on top of the ridge. And I didn't want to tag a doe. I already had a nice big buck and I wanted another big buck. All of a sudden I hear this, and here came this frickin' broadhead on the end of a crossbow bolt, came sailing over the top of that doe and zoomed in front of me at gut height and stuck in the bank right in front of me. Probably about, I'll bet you that arrow went, crossed in front of my stomach, about, oh, big rock slide on the go over there. So anyways, that crossbow bolt zipped in front of my stomach at about maybe 6 or 7 yards in front of me. And had that broadhead pass through me, that would have been a shitty way to go, because obviously you're not going to die right away and you're going to bleed out. And I mean, I would have been dead. It would have took, it was about an hour to get to the vehicle, and that would have been another hour and so just to get to a first responder somewhere. But anyways, that's kind of unfortunate and fortunate at the same time. Now, the third time was while I was guiding, and I'll tell a bit of a hunt story that goes with this. This is just an odd time. It's an odd experience. Weird, just a weird guided hunt that I'll never forget. Which I don't really forget much of any of them, but anyway. So this particular guy was the second hunt, so sheep season, stone sheep, and it was August 15th to 30th hunt. It was a horseback hunt up where we ride up river drainages and up into the head, the Rocky Mountains, the northern Rocky Mountains, and chase stone sheep around. And this guy was from Louisiana. I won't say his name. He's a nice guy. And he was a doctor. And it was really weird. One thing I found over the years is some people, not everybody, but some people can put a mental block in their head when it comes to doing something that might be tough. And you'll understand what I'm trying to describe in a second. Because this guy, I watched him. I watched him at camp. I watched him ride the horse. I watched him walk. He walked fine. He could walk fast. He could walk a normal pace on flat ground around camp. I watched him. There wasn't anything wrong with him. There was nothing inhibiting him. He wasn't physically damaged or anything. And it was the weirdest freaking thing, because we get up the valley. I spotted some pretty big. I found a book ram. Actually, just one ram was a monster, and he was way up in hell. Up in the top peaks. And we really put a big play on that ram. I ended up getting up on the ram, but he was over the height of land, which was the guide outfitter territory border, and he was over the slope and straight down with about 6 other rams just laying there about 400 yards away, and there's nothing we could do about it. Obviously, you're in the middle of nowhere, and if you go shooting a ram illegally in the other guide territory, you're never alone out there. Just so you know, you're never alone. Somebody's going to see you, and the shit's going to fly. So, no, we didn't shoot the ram. But backing up, this particular guy, as soon as we started to climb up any kind of rocks or any kind of when we started to climb up the mountain, not on the valley, the creek bottom trail, which I watched him, he walked completely normally. As soon as he went to start walking up, it was the most weirdest, frustrating thing I've ever seen in my life, because he would go like this. He'd be like, just like that, and I'm not exaggerating. This guy would gear down to the speed of a constipated frickin' slug, and it was absolutely bizarre. It was like he was walking a frickin' tightrope in bare feet that was on fire. It was just ridiculous. He would go like I had a cripple with me. I'm like, what the? Are you freaking kidding me? Are you all right? Yep. Yeah, I'm okay. Well, come on, let's go. It was frustrating, because if you know mountain hunting, if you got a band of rams up in that basin above you, and you're going to put the stock on them in the morning, the cool air is dropping, so you can basically go straight up below them. But if you get to 9:30 in the morning, the wind's going to get fluffy, I call it, and it's going to change, and the thermals are going to rise, and your scent's going to go up and blow those rams out of there. And this particular area, if the rams blow out of there, they go up and over the guide outfitter territory border line. Right, so you got to get up there, right? And I remember him saying to me, well, I'll get up there. I just got to go at my own pace. And I'm like, after about 3 or 4 days of this bullshit, I'm like, hey, look, you know what? If you will get up there at your own pace, but you will as well keep continually scaring these sheep away all day, every day. One of these days, you're going to have to buckle down, suck it up, and get up there. And I was getting a little frustrated with them, which I normally don't do. It's they're out there paid for it. But come on, man. We're all putting in a huge effort here. Do the right thing. Because, and I'm not exaggerating, I would hike up maybe 50 yards. Swear on my life. I'd just run at 50 yards. It would take me, what, 3 minutes. I would literally take my backpack off, lay it on the ground, and I'd just lay on the ground, stare at the sky, and have a snooze and a rest and wait for him to catch up to me. And I'm not kidding you. Now try doing that for 1,500 frickin' yards. It was insanity. And I never forgot that part of this particular story. So moving along, I got up at some rams. The wind changed, blew them out of there. I found the rams again. Nice big 10-year-old ram, probably 38 inches, broomed off, snapped off on one side, tipped on the other. And the day we decided to stalk them, it was rain and sleet and fog and snot and hell. But I took note. I watched these suckers for half a day or a day before. I watched them for a day. Saw where they're going to bed. Saw where they're going to feed. Got this guy. We made it into the basin in time. And I came from the side, opposite the side they're feeding, so that when the wind changed, we'd blow out this way, and hope that we could get to where the rams in bed before they got there, and then this guy could tee off and get his big ram. And we got there, and then all of a sudden this ball of fog came through, but you still just see the rock, and we're only 100 yards away from it. And I said, okay, and had glasses on. And I'm like, can you see through your scope without your glasses? Kind of, yeah. And I go, maybe you should take your glasses off, because they kept on getting wet. And he'd take them off, and he'd wipe them, and he'd put them back on. And I go, maybe just focus your scope on that rock, and leave your glasses off, okay? Because this is going to go down any time now. We're not going to see them coming, but they're probably going to show up right there. I'll be okay. Okay. All of a sudden, you could just make out, you could hear the rocks kicking, and all of a sudden, here comes this great big, huge 10-year-old 38-inch ram, but he was heavier than hell. Snapped off. I think he's met a little broomed on one side, if I remember correctly. And he came walking through, and there's about a 20-yard slot where he walked through. And I go, there he is, take him. And he's got his gun up, puts his gun down, takes his glasses off, digs for his hanky, and starts wiping off his glasses. And the ram walked out of sight, and then he walked in front of us and walked into our scent, and then you could hear him panic and take off. And the rest of them panic. You could hear him running. That's what I had a nervous frickin' breakdown. But anyway, it's funny, some hunts, not too many, and also some fishing trips, and lots of you guys can relate to this, is sometimes when you start off with grief, it just snowballs. There's nothing you can do about it. And I've learned to recognize that now, sometimes on my own hunts or my own fishing days, I'll notice a bunch of screw-ups, and I'll be like, I'll take that warning early if okay, this isn't the day, and this hunt wasn't the hunt. So, now picture this one. So, moving along, now these rams had moved back down. I found the same band of rams I think it was about a mile or 2 miles actually back down our valley, but still on the same slopes where the guide territory borders above them. Now it's smoking hot out. We spent basically the entire day getting up the face to the where the basin opens up. We get up there, and you get up straight up cliff, and I'm looking in. So I've got my elbows on this big rock, this rock shelf. I'm hiding. I get up, and he's squatting down beside me like this. He's right here, squatting down beside me, and his gun barrel's just like this. And he's sitting there waiting as I pop up. And I got my binoculars. I had these 15 by 52, I think, Swarovskis. That sounds right. Whatever. And I got my elbows on this rock, and I'm looking at straight shot. I'm looking right at these rams, and they're about 175 yards from me. I recognize the one big one. I got my elbows on the rock, and I look at him, and he's right here. So this gun barrel, to me, so I'm looking this way. This gun barrel, it was a 300 Weatherby Magnum Magna-ported. So if you're not familiar with that, that's the end of the barrel. It's got this thing on the end with all the holes everywhere for the blast to go out to the side to lessen the kick on your shoulder, okay? 300 Weatherby Magnum. It was right about there. And he's right tight beside me, squatting down. So I got my elbows up and I look at him, okay, put one in the tube and come up here. And use the rock as a rest and their straight shot. Just put the crosshairs right on and let him have it. He's like this. Okay. He works the bolt, closes the bolt, and the rifle goes off. But whammo! And that, it was just like, you watch those war movies when it shows somebody in a foxhole or whatever and the bomb goes off and then all of a sudden it kills all the sound. And you just see this guy standing like a codfish who got hit in the head with a rock. You're just like, and it blew me to the side. I physically thought that he shot me and killed me. I thought I was shot. It felt kind of like as if you got soccer kicked in the side of the head. And all sound went done, like dead silence, but I could hear this ringing like a, oh, like just that dong. Weird sound in my head, and I'm stumbling around. Oh my God. And I'm looking for blood. I'm like looking, I'm alive. He didn't kill me. And still to this day, like right now, I can hear ringing in my ears. It's the most dominant sound coming into my ears no matter where I am, 24/7. My head is absolutely ringing. And it was pretty close. That guy nearly blew my frickin' head off. and then of course, the Rams took off. Never saw him again. They went up and over the top now. I mean, that's like the third time screwing up. And that was really, really unfortunate. And but normally you don't ever let anybody pack the gun with a round in the tube, in the pipe, in the barrel, ready to go, ever. And that's the only time I had somebody almost accidentally shoot me when I was guiding, and it really, really sucked ass. And since then, I've been caught, in front of the muzzle. You get in front of the money and the business end of any firearm. You get in the front, and that thing goes up. You are in for it. In case you didn't know, you are in for it. Just a couple years ago, I had a friend of mine, we were out calling moose, and some wolves came up, and we started teeing off, and another 30-06 went off, basically right here behind me, blew my frickin' head to pieces. And poor Sarah, my girlfriend's like, I'd say, what? I don't know how many times I say, what? What? Pardon? It's almost like she almost automatically has to say sentences twice to me. It's a little frustrating for me, but it is what it is. But I can hear, like when I'm hunting in the timber or calling animals, turkey or elk or whatever, moose, I can hear those sounds. But what screws up for me is if I have a TV on the background, other kind of noise, somebody's talking to me, somebody starts talking to me, from a concert, from a pub or restaurant with real shitty acoustics, it'll really screw up my hearing. It mixes up with that ringing sound, and it's tough for me to maintain a real smooth conversation with somebody at times. It really kind of sucks, but yeah, that was unfortunate. And but I'll tell you, it kind of reminds you of the rest of the hunt. I'll tell you the rest of the story. It has nothing to do with getting shot, but it was amusing for me. Just before I tell you this, I don't know why, I've always had some kind of it's almost like a nervous tick. If somebody gets hurt, I don't start laughing. I don't laugh at people getting hurt. But I don't know why, whenever if I get bucked off, or somebody just with me gets bucked off their horse, I can't help it. I laugh my frickin' head off. It just makes me laugh. It's the funniest shit on the planet. I don't know why. I just piss my pants laughing every time somebody hits a rodeo and gets bucked off. So this particular dude, remember I told you how feeble, this guy's like a 180-pound dude. Probably 5'10", 5'11", 180-pound dude. He wasn't out of shape. He wasn't physically disabled. It's just his brain told him that each rock was a hand grenade or something every time he started to walk uphill. It drove me frickin' nuts. I wanted to shoot his ass. I was so frustrated. Got a handful of rounds right there. I could basically run up there on my bare feet and shoot one in less than an hour, and it's taking me 5-6 hours just to get 3/4 of the way to them, and I'm not exaggerating. It was absolutely amazing. Oh, but anyway, so that tight valley's done. I got on the sat phone, I phoned the outfitter, told him we're all together, we're going down. But coincidentally, the hunt before that hunt was the other story I told on my channel where the guy shot all the rounds, got him 100 yards away, blew 17 rounds out of there. That was the hunt previous. We shot the piss out of this tight little place and never touched a piece of fur. So I wanted to get out of there and go somewhere else. So we agreed. So we rode out of there and went back to the main ranch, regrouped. He got flown in by bush plane to us. We rode out the following day to this other cabin camp, and we get in there. It's just myself, the wrangler, and we rode in with about 9 or 10 horses or something. And then this dude got flown in by the bush plane. And I remember having to tell him before, like he'd get on the horse and he'd swing his leg up, but he'd swing it up like he was crippled, and he would always stop with his knee, like you get on a horse, you saddle up, you swing your leg over its back, and you put your foot in the stirrup, okay? He would bring his leg up, but he would stop and pause with his kneecap on top of the horse's ass. I don't know how many times he did it, and then he'd be flailing with his stupid backpack on and shit. And I go, dude, quit doing that. Don't hammer your knee into the ass of the horse, because the horse is lunging ahead with him half on the horse. And he's about to cause some injury or some mayhem, right? I don't know how many times, and I don't bitch and nag people because you don't want to be a bitch. But if I speak, you should probably listen. And I'm like, quit doing that. Don't do that, okay? Oh, yeah, okay. I watch him. Sure enough, he'd get on the horse again. He'd swing up, stop mid-swing, and kind of knee on the horse, and then slide his leg over their side, and the horse would start jerking ahead, and he'd almost fall off. So now we got him on this big horse we used to call Al, because Al had a brand on him, A-L. Great big, huge, perch run across beast. So you get on top of this thing, you're so high in the air, it's almost in the nosebleed stands, right? And we're down on so we walk from the cabin, we walk down to the river drain behind camp, walk through the willow, we just walk down. And just before we go to right across the creek, we saddle up right there. And saw River Rock right on this river bank. And this poor guy, and Al's never bucked in his life. This big chunk of frickin' meat of a horse. He's never bucked ever. And he gets on Al. He's holding onto the frickin' saddle horn like your average 7-year-old at the fairs, at the farm fair. Swings his leg up and stabs his knee into Al's ass. And Al's like, wow! Goes like, what the hell, right? And then he bounces him, slams his kneecap on Al's ass again. Al goes into full-on, bucking like this, launches the guy in the air, and he flies through the air and lands flat on his back in the river rock. The wrangler's like, oh my God! Like, the poor wrangler's like, oh my God, he's dead. This shrieking, shrill scream of pain squeaks out of this dude. He's laying there, obviously. He just landed like 7 feet up, landed flat on your back of a rock. And me, I'm buckled over. I can't breathe. I have drool coming out of my mouth because I'm laughing so hard. And I can't. I'm strangling, trying not to laugh. And I'm laughing right now. I don't know why. I'm a dick. Fine, I don't care. It's just like, holy shit, that was funny. The horse takes off with the guy's rifle and everything, and then the wrangler's looking at me, Steve! I'm like, what? Let's help him, whatever. And then we got the guy up. He laid there for a while. And then we got him up, managed to get back to the cabin, phoned the plane, and the plane came and got him, and off to the hospital he went. So there you go. There you go. There's another crazy hunt story and a few stories of almost getting shot. And hopefully I never have that happen again. And no, I've never almost shot myself ever before. And yeah, but I got more stories to go of weird episodes with different characters. And I've never really been nervous of anybody, strangers, when I've been guiding with their firearm. But the one time, I will tell a story another time. I don't watch it right now because I'm in a good mood and it'll bring me down. But it's when that sack of crap from Athens, Georgia. Does that sound familiar? Southern Georgia, I think. I remember his full name. I'll tell you later. And he smuggled crystal meth in his shells instead of gunpowder and wigged out and wanted to kill everybody in camp. And that's another story for another time. I'm not into telling that one right now. There you go.